1. Hey, good morning. I am here with, what is it? Stompin Helen? Fanny Sunshine.
Franny Sunshine and Hell-Stompin
He
Helen.
said Franny Sunshine. Yeah. You know, this is what happens when one of the She's Velvet Steel girls makes our names and we don't get to pick our own, right? Helen?
Yes, exactly.
Call me Franny for the rest of this episode. Oh, my goodness. But it's super excited that I'm finally on with someone that also is rocking a messy bun with me.
Yes, I got the messy bun thing going on right now.
I don't
Daily.
know how it's possible. I don't know if it's just you look so cool because of your glasses, your dangling earrings, but I swear, oh no, I think we just lost her. That can't be good. This will be a fun one today, people, anybody that's watching with us. Well, I see 3 of you are there. I see everybody but Gretchen. Gretchen, come back to us. All right, stay tuned. It's a Monday morning. We are going to be back up in a minute.
We're back.
Oh, all right, you're back. I was just going to end it. Dang it. Okay. See, happy Monday. All right, we're just keeping it real, okay? And for me, this is actually the first Monday that my kids are off school. How about you? Are they still in school?
You know what? My kids actually still have a week of school left. This is their last week. Can you believe that?
That's why you're smiling so big. I mean, before I came into this, I was just throwing down threats. I mean, it's like throw down a threat with the treat. It's like, you better not do that. You're super good. I'll let you watch 5 minutes of TV. But if you don't do it, I'm gonna I don't know. I'm feeling sporadic for Monday morning.
I've already been praying. I'm just praying that I don't lose it this summer.
I like it. I like that you go on the spiritual route with this. So one of the things I know that I'm not the only person wondering, because you seem very normal, but you had on your profile that you watch no TV.
I don't.
What's happening? Seriously, I know. I'm not the only one asking.
It's so funny because the looks I get when people when I tell them that I don't watch TV, they're like, wait. So you don't watch TV? You don't have TV? I have TVs. Let me clarify. I do have TVs, but I don't watch it. So yes, we have Hulu, we have Netflix, and that's pretty much it in my house. And even that I don't watch. I mean, if I do, it has to be a very compelling / educational thing of some sort. Otherwise, I just don't do it. In 2013, we had, we got rid of TV because it was for financial reasons. And I thought, okay, well, we'll trim the extra fat. It's all good. And then when we got to a point where we could afford cable again, I was like, this is kind of nice. I'm reading more. I just feel more involved. I don't feel like I'm comparing myself to what the world says I'm supposed to, look like or be like, or.
You're obviously not watching the competitive eating channels, because that would make you feel
better. No, definitely not. I just was like, all the Real Housewives stuff and, the Kardashian stuff. And, I'm not that I'm, more power to them, but I just was like, it's not me. It's not me.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's I feel like you could be in a zoo where people could come by and stare at you. Here's a woman that doesn't watch TV at all. And you just look like normal.
It's a secret. Well, now it's broadcasted to the world. So if you all are sharing this, people are going to be like, wait, there's a chick who doesn't watch any TV. That is correct.
Yeah. I mean, anybody that is watching and doesn't watch any TV, absolutely, please. You can comment, and those of you that are my sisters and do watch TV and don't know how you survive without it, I'll take some angry faces. Because I'm pretty angry. I'm trying to kick this habit, but it's like soda, for some reason I keep coming back well, I can probably do soda better. So a little bit about you is you've got 2 amazing little boys, right?
I do. Yes. I've got 2 little boys, and I've got, my youngest one is a high functioning autistic child. So that has all of its little challenges. So for all you mamas who have children with any kind of special need, totally understand where you're coming from. That's a whole beast in itself. So
don't think that's because he doesn't get TV. I don't know.
You know, he's not a TV watcher at all either. You know, it's my oldest son that is like the video gamer, and even then we have to limit the screen time. But my youngest son wants to get dirty, be in the mud, sling mud around. You
Mm.
know, he's the guy that will go running and jumping into a pool with his clothes on. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Sounds
that's
like
my
my
youngest son.
husband.
You're like, yeah, my husband too, probably. But
Yeah.
I think that that's a lot of where my youngest son gets it from. But yeah, so two little boys. I have we had kids like right out of the gate. So that was both a blessing and also like a, whoa, God, what are you doing? Because we literally, my oldest son is a honeymoon baby. So we were married. We closed escrow on our first place that we still live in now. And I remember 2 days after getting the keys, taking a pregnancy test. And I was like, oh, well, okay. I'm like, not sure how that's going to work, but God does his thing, and here we are, two children, a mortgage, and lots of craziness later. So it worked
Yeah.
out.
Wow. That sounds like Laurel Lauren. I can see she's
Yes,
online with us. I know she had a honeymoon baby. You know,
yes,
when kids
yes.
get
And
older,
then,
they're trying to do the math. It's like, make sure there's a 9-month gap. Like, what, mom and dad?
well, it's
But I
interesting
mean,
because it's funny when you talk about the gap. And I'm just going to throw this out there. And then this is like the funny conversation. So last night we ended up having to have like the talk with the boys last night. You know what I'm saying? Like birds and the bees. So it was like, okay, here we go. We're going to lay all the cards out. Happy Father's Day. It was kind of funny, but at the same time, I was like, hey, babe, I carried these boys for, 10 months apiece, back to back. Your turn, tag, you're it. So I like totally left the room and I was like, of course, on all days, Father's Day.
so how did it go? I mean,
Good.
did they ask you any questions when you came back in? I mean, I only have girls, so I constantly give them the talk because they're staring at me and they're like, what is that? What is
They
that?
d- they did ask a couple of questions, but they were appropriate. You know what I'm saying? Like they weren't like anything crazy. But
Huh.
that's God's sense of humor, right? Like, hey, happy Father's Day. Let's go ahead and have the talk now.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No, I actually made my husband start sitting down peeing because the girls would walk in constantly on him. And then once my 4-year-old started trying to pee standing up at the toilet, I was like, I mean, I hear moms and boys say that their bathroom, they're always like trying to get them to hit the toilet, but it's literally impossible. Like even camping, I pee on myself. So I'm like, there's no way this little girl's going to get in the toilet. So I was like, honey, please just do me a favor and sit down and pee. So
Yeah.
I married a great man and he's like happy to do it. So, but I mean, on a like note, since we're timing it, so everybody watching doesn't wonder like, how women we like to just keep going. But one of the things that totally stuck out to me, and I just like, when I was even looking at your profile, and then a couple times you and I have talked, is just that you struggle with depression. Because I know
Yeah.
that one of the things that's different with all of us is that, with the She's Velvet Steel, it's that we don't have a certain mold. We're not trying to fit everybody
Right.
into, I mean, obviously, we've got boy moms, girl moms, we've got
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurs, we've got stay-at-home moms. I mean, it's you cross the gamut, but I think, at the core of it, we're all just women trying to do the best and be who God called us to be. And when you kind
Yeah.
of shared that, I was like, man, I mean, do you think that depression could be, writing 2 books? I mean, no TV. I mean, 2 boys, one autistic. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not a licensed psychologist or psychiatrist, anybody, but I'm always happy to like throw my hat in the ring. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
Depression is one of those things that it's a really, I don't want to say it's a sticky subject, but I think people feel a lot of shame around depression, whether it's postpartum depression, whether it's, clinical depression, whether it's just seasonal depression. The word depression has such a stigma to it. And I think that the more we recognize and understand that God has hardwired each one of us completely different in the way that he has created us. And when we embrace that, and I heard, I can't remember if I saw this like on social media somewhere or if oh, you know what? It was in the comparison trap when it was
Was
talking
it?
about,
Sure, was it on TV?
it was not on TV, no, but it was on the comparison trap. And it's when when you know him, you know who you are, right? I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
and being that I was in the corporate world for such a long time, I mean, I worked in some pretty like high octane, fast pace. You always had to have like your best foot forward, but it was about what the world was telling you, to do, what culture's telling you to do. And I very much had one foot in the world, one foot in the quote unquote the church. I'm married to a pastor, so that has its all of that gamut and that dynamic, which is very different too. And so it's really hard to be able to come out and just share that. And so when I finally really back in 2014 hit that mark of like, I know who I've been created to be. I know how God has hardwired me. I'm not ashamed of how he has made me in his image. Everything changed. Everything changed. And then that's what spiraled into writing the books. That's what really kicked off like my full entrepreneur journey, because I thought, gosh, if I struggle with this, how many other people out there that are struggling with it in silence?
Mm.
And bringing that into She's Velvet Steel, it's like you can, with depression in a very real way, tackle it, right? In a steel way, hard, like straight up, but you can love on people at the same time.
Well, and I mean, you can tell me and correct me if you think I'm right or wrong, but I think even with depression too, like because I think every woman at some point, I think I had some postpartum, but it's not necessarily going to look exactly the same way for everybody. I mean,
Nope.
not everybody, it's like super dark. I mean, it's like, sometimes you're just like, I'm just super unhappy all the time or exhausted or,
Right.
oh my gosh, it's summer and I was super excited about having my kids home, but it's day one. And I mean, I think I might be depressed, but I mean, that's just
it's real.
It is real. And I think just being able to as moms, you kind of feel like you're supposed to have it all together.
Yeah. I think that's part of the stigma that I really fell in love, or I shouldn't say stigma, but that's part of why I fell in love with She's Velvet Steel, because it was to me, and being a part of this community and doing what it is that we do, like I don't have to put on a mask. I am me. I'm Gretchen Barocio. I don't have to pretend for anybody. I don't have to, act like I got it all together, because I surely don't. I will tell you that from day one. I surely don't have my stuff together. And I think the moment that we can accept that and just go, this is who I am, and I don't have it all together. Some days, my 70% is what's going to have to do as 100%, as a mom or, in my business or whatever it is. And I think when we break down that wall and go, I'm good with the way that God has made me. I'm good with the situation at hand. I'm good, even though I might not have hit my business goal. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. It doesn't mean that all is lost. And I think that we are just in such a day and age where it's like, it's all about the, what can I acquire? What do I have? What's the status? I used to hate it in the corporate world. This drove me nuts, but it drove me crazy when people say, well, what's your title? And sometimes I wanted to be like, well, what does that have to do with anything? What does my title have to do with anything?
President, baby.
I'm Hell-Stompin Heel, man. I'm Hell-Stompin Heel.
Heel, Helen, not heel.
Yes. I am Hell-Stompin Heel Helen, whatever you want to call it. But I'm, crushing the enemy under my feet. And so every day that I wake up, my number one goal is I want to make the enemy say, crap, she's up again. And continuing to get up and fight the good fight. Because when we get up every single day and fight the good fight, that's what sends the enemy packing.
Yeah.
And if we can link arms together, right, and we can move forward together, right, better together, because the enemy's really good at getting you in isolation mode, right? Whether it's your kids at home in the summertime, whether it's feeling like you're on the outside in a mom group or a school. You name it, right? The enemy does not come out and like try to pounce in something where you're just gonna be totally taken off guard. No, it's a slow fade is what it is. And it starts with isolation. And isolation is a dangerous playground. That's why I don't play there anymore.
Yeah.
I don't play there anymore.
It's easy. I feel like it's easy to be isolated even though we're so connected. I feel like that's almost more isolating,
Yes.
Like if you are
Like,
like right now, like you get off this interview, you log into Facebook just to see, and then all of a sudden it's like, what? Everybody else
yeah,
this morning met up for breakfast. And I was just sitting in my car talking to Reagan. I mean, you start to like be like, oh my gosh, were they calling
yeah.
me? Did they call me? What did they? I didn't get that call. So I think
Well,
it's,
and social media, that's a dangerous, I always say this too. Social media is a tool, not a form of validation. And we live in a day and age where social media has become
super
this
good.
this form of validation where we'll go to Instagram before we go to the word. You know what I'm saying? Like we are more concerned about the likes on Instagram than we're liking the word and what God has to say about us. We're more concerned about who's commenting on how great my shirt looks or how wonderful, my filter is on my photo versus what's the filter that you're putting on your life. That's the wall we got to break down.
Absolutely. That's why you're Hell-Stompin Helen. All right. These like go straight
Crush
deep.
the enemy.
I was like, in my mind, I'm like, crap. I think my kids are just saying, they're just scared when I wake up in the morning. They're like, oh no, she's up again. Oh crap,
Yeah.
not the enemy. He's like, there's my little buddy coming out like a crazy person, yelling at these guys. No, I think
Yeah.
that's awesome. If you like, I mean, I like to go practical and simple because for me, it's like, it's a simple, practical things that are going to stick in my mind when I listen to something. So what would you say? Go name three simple things. Just, obviously you can go into more in depth, but just three simple things that you do that kind of keeps you from going into like a phase of like depressed or kind of that dark place where you're
Right.
just like, oh my gosh, and I feel like all women, our minds go pretty quickly. So it doesn't take hard to like,
No, you're so right about that, Regan. Like you can go from 0 to 100 in a matter of 2.5 seconds. I mean, the enemy can work that quick, but typically what I do, my three best practices when I'm feeling like I'm about to go there is I always, always, always stop whatever I'm doing and I'll throw on some worship music. Doesn't matter what, I'll hit Spotify and it's headphones in and I'm trying to throw that at the throne, right? Because it's so easy to go to the phone versus going to the throne. And then number two, I have a couple of, as I call them, my safe friends. People who have also struggled with depression and have beat it, whether via medication or not. And I'm not an advocate necessarily. I personally don't take medication. I've been healed miraculously, 100% by the Holy Spirit. But I also don't advocate if you do need to take medication, obviously do so. But I've got some friends who have really struggled with depression, have beat it, and so I will go straight to them. If I go to the phone next, those are the people that I go to. And then number three, I absolutely will shout out scripture. Probably sounds very weird, but there's something about fighting back with the word in that supernatural, in that spiritual realm that is just like boom. And it's amazing the weight that is lifted off because I have to get myself out of isolation because 99% of the time, that's usually when it comes on because your mind will go to that spot.
So favorite scripture verse, and give us an example, because I feel like again, let's go basics. I mean, if you're sitting there and you're like, what do I say? Like, I mean, Jesus wept. I mean, then I'm just like even more into it because that's the shortest verse in the Bible.
Right.
But I want people to like when they log in, they look at this and especially in this area, like walk away. You've got something practical today if this comes on you. So go ahead, give us what verse. I mean, anything typically.
Luke 10:19. It's like my go-to verse. And it talks about that Jesus has given us the authority to stomp scorpions and serpents under our feet every single time. So I will literally shout that out. Luke 10:19, then I'll say the verse, and then I'll say Luke 10:19 again, and then I'll say the verse because I have the authority to crush scorpions and serpents under my feet. That's the power that lives within us. So, to be able to access that because I have it with me 100% of the time. And it's funny because I think a lot of times because we can't see it, you don't go to that as your first line of defense. You don't go to that as your first defense mechanism, right? We'll go to whatever else. So practicality, that's what I do. Luke 10:19, go write it down. Go, write it on a Post-it note, stick it at your desk, write it on your mirror so you see it every morning in the bathroom. Journal it. Say it out loud, repeat it. Look at it. I like to do this too, is I'll look at it in different translations and I get something new from it every time.
That's going super deep. So if you got a Kindle, the U verse, right? What's our Bible thing? You can do that for anybody. I mean, I love this. Oh, all right. Well, that is our timer. So, I mean, I know we went a little deep today, but this is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I need to start my Monday. I mean, it's the beginning. I'm going to be quoting verses all day, you know?
Hashtag real talk.
Holy water on my children. You know, in the name of Jesus, leave. I don't know.
In the name of Jesus, leave.
Don't do that at home. It might mess our kids up, you know. But they'll need therapy at some point. But any last thing you want to say, Gretchen, to like our ladies that are out there today?
You know, whatever it is that you are going through right now in this very moment, don't give up. I know that there's a lot of women in this community now who might be struggling with something relationally, might be struggling with something financially, might be struggling with something in their business. Don't give up. Just don't. Even if you got to make like you're crawling, crawl. I promise you will get to the other side, because I've been there. I've been in the valley and I've been on the mountaintop. And the worst thing you could do is just give up and go home. So keep going. Keep going. That's why we're here.
Awesome. All right. Check this out. Have an awesome day. Messy bun it. Don't
Messy
give up.
bun it.
All right. Bye.
Bye.